cousins. Today, we have Jule Saynes from resident of Collinwood and Alan Gallant from Collinsport After Dark. I've had the pleasure to be on Jule's channel several times, and I met Alan at the memorial event in Los Angeles a couple years ago. They're great guys, and I love their channels. So come on, let's head on down to the back room at the Blue Whale, shall we? There we go. All right, guys. So welcome to the back room at the Blue Whale.
Did you say the bathroom at the Blue Whale? No, the back room.
The
Sorry.
back room.
Okay.
It's where all the cool kids hang out.
Okay, that's fine.
At least that's what I tell myself. So
okay. Well, we'll try to be among the cool kids here, I guess.
You're cool kids.
There's a dartboard on the wall with Jason McGuire's picture on it. There you go.
Well, watch out. Yeah. And some.
But I've been wanting to have you guys on since before I started this podcast, because Jule, you've had me on yours several times.
Yes.
And, you were so nice to me in LA, and I love Collinsport After Dark, and I think it's just wonderful, and I love the energy that you guys have together, because I watch you guys on Jules all the time. And I thought, okay, well, this will be great just, to have you both together.
Together again for the first time.
Yes, we've got the band back together, though we weren't broke up long enough, goddammit.
That's right. Now we got to scrape together enough money to go on tour.
Yeah, that check, my check will straight up bounce.
Yeah, I got a credit card I can burn through. Whatever, let's go.
Awesome. So, I don't really have like kind of set topics or anything like that. We just, kind of talk about, whatever. And, what I love about Collinsport After Dark, Alan, is I love that you get into so much history and detail with, things like, the merchandise that was put out during the show, and the music used on the show, which, those are my favorite episodes. I love those.
Yeah, I've always been into that sort of thing. I'm on my second collection. I started collecting in the 90s when I got back into the show again in the early 90s. But then when I moved to Florida about 20 plus years ago, I sold a great chunk of that collection in order to have money to get myself started for the first 6 months that I was in Florida. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I started really collecting again. So I've got a lot of stuff, and I've still got stuff I haven't explored on the show yet. But primarily, at least for now, that's what I'm doing is the photo shoots, the merchandise, the music, all of that sort of stuff. And it's just what I do. I've been a researcher since I was probably 11 or 12 years old. So that's what I like to do.
Awesome. Is there anything from your collection that you sold that you haven't been able to find again that you would love to be able to find again?
Yeah. Good story. My brother is a antiques and collectibles dealer. Calls himself a glorified junk man. He's been doing it for years and years. He worked for the state for a number of years, got a small sort of pension, and then in his, I'd say before he was actually 45, he completely quit that job and was on the road with a van, selling everything from furniture to antique, country antiques, all sorts of interesting things. And I went with him. This was probably back in around 1998, I think. I used to go with him occasionally when I had time to go on these 3 or 4 day junkets to these different outdoor shows. And one of them was in Brimfield, Massachusetts, a great big show. Another one is Renninger's in Pennsylvania, in Kutztown. And when I was in Kutztown, I was walking around when I wasn't tending, I helped him tend his stall, but I get a break and I could go off for a couple hours. And I went off, and at one point, I was looking for dark shadow stuff. I was looking for Viewmaster reels. I was looking for this. I was looking for that. And this lady had a bunch of costume jewelry in cases. Her whole stall was full of them. And I just happened to notice that there was a black onyx ring in one of her cases. It turned out it was the Timco ring, and she only wanted $5 for it.
Oh.
I just held my breath and handed her the money, and I got that. I ended up selling that for over $300, which was great because I needed the money at the time. And I have not been able to bring myself to spend $500 to replace it. So not after getting it for $5. So that's the one. That's the big item that I had that I may never have again, but that's okay. I've got a bunch of other great stuff. So.
Well, maybe everyone watching this will kind of be on the lookout and maybe throw you a line.
Oh no, they'll want to sell it to me for $400 or $500.
Oh.
I wouldn't blame them either because it's kind of worth that right now. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to take advantage of anybody.
Oh.
Have you thought about going to a custom costume shop and having it made?
Well, I've got the last when we were all at the weekend. I got one of the 90s versions. I've got two of these now because they were selling them for like $25. So I grabbed it, I said, hey, two's better than one. So I do have those at least. So I'm kind of happy with that. Certainly more than happy to have those. I also have the entire, I've got the entire, the costume line that was put out here, 15 or so years ago, 12, 15 years ago. I've got the cape and I even bought the wig. I'd never wear the damn thing, but I just bought it to have it, because I got it for cheap. So, I look for stuff. I like magazines. I've got a whole bunch of 16 magazines and some flips and some faves and that sort of thing. I just recently got a couple of afternoon TV magazines, including the December one with a picture of Fred and Lara Parker on the cover from December of '68. And that thing, I just lucked out. Somebody was selling it for, half what it was worth. And got that. That's basically how I do it. I spent a lot of money on certain items. The music, my first episode, which covers those acetate discs. That's probably the single grouping that I've spent the most money on.
And certainly money well spent. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It was great. Jeff Kenny was the one that basically sold me that entire collection. He'd gotten it at an auction at one of the conventions, I believe. So I have to give him props for that.
Very cool. I'm hoping to have him on soon. There's I have a bunch of friends that I've been reaching out to, and I'm like, hey, I want to have you guys on, but it's just scheduling's kind of hard and
sure.
And everything.
Yeah.
And it looked like when I'd reached out to you before, Jule was free, but you weren't. So
yeah, I have two jobs, so sometimes it's like, and I'm kind of committed to this guy over here for a lot of stuff when I'm not working. So it's a little tricky, but it can happen. So
very cool. Now, Jule, do you collect any dark shadows or anything? Are you in any? Do you have any kind of collections?
The most that I collect are Blu-rays, and I have the Coffin box set now. So I can't pull out my DVDs because again, it's a whole freaking drawer back there. But I have a bunch of Blu-rays. Action figures, again, it depends what I'm in the mood for because I don't always go out to buy them. But if I see something I like I saw, Julie's better at this than me because she'll see something and just buy it. Me, I'm very particular. Like I've got 3 Michael Myers. I've got this Michael Myers doll up here. I could show it to you, but it's up there. Hold on. Oh, damn it.
Jule has a broader interest in the horror genre. So he's got a lot he has a lot of physical media. He likes to collect DVDs.
Yeah.
You got it? Kinda. There he is. I saw his foot. There he goes. Awesome.
This thing here that my wife's going to turn it on here.
Mhm.
See if it's still on.
Yeah, there you
Oh,
go.
cool.
Oh, of course. Isn't that darling? He actually brandishes the knife.
Right? Right? Yeah, I have like a couple Michael Myers action figures. I have a
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z action figure. I have a Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street. I have Jason over there. I have a Jonathan Frid poster over there on the wall with Barnabas Collins. One of my favorite posters I got outside of that one, because I got that one from allposters.com, the Jonathan Frid, the Barnabas Collins one. I got a King Kong, the 1970s remake, which I got that for pre-ordering the Blu-ray off of Shout Factory. Justin Beam did his for Reverend Entertainment. He's on Facebook. They did the research, the commentary, the behind the scenes stuff, like everything that how the movie was made, like what went wrong, all that stuff. And they talked to Rick Baker. I mean, they had a bunch of interviews on there, which is really cool. And then when you ordered that DVD, you got this poster of King with the King Kong holding wrestling the snake, which is fucking cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm a big I'm a big physical media guy. I just ordered two more Blu-rays. I ordered Curse of Frankenstein with Christopher Lee, and I ordered The Stranger with Orson Welles. So I'm a big opponent of physical media. Look, streaming's great, but don't be a slave to it either, is my advice to anybody listening.
Yeah, I've been ordering a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays lately and trying to really kind of build up my collection. I've been on eBay a lot lately. I've been on the Kino Lorber site a lot because they have so many cool Blu-rays and everything on there.
It's kind of weird because when I first started collecting DVDs, I was like a teenager. The first DVD I bought was John Carpenter's Halloween, and it had
Mhm.
this slip cover where you could lift it up and turn it, and it was Michael's illumination of Michael's, and
Mhm.
you can see that same sort of DVD. It's not my DVD, but you could see that one if you could find one of Christian Hanna's old videos. He has something like that, and that's one similar to the one I bought. That's what was once upon a time Super Kmart, R.I.P.
Mhm.
But that's sort of the sad part. A lot of exclusive stores that sold DVDs have kind of gone away. FYE, Super Kmart, Target is completely given up selling DVDs altogether, which is insane. The places you can get DVDs now, other than online, is Walmart, or if you go to your local Big Lots and root through their
Mhm.
DVDs. Because I had found a ton of $3 Blu-rays. I mean, literally. What was the movie I'm thinking about? With oh, what's his name? Emilio Estevez's dad, and
Martin Sheen.
yeah, Martin Sheen, and the guy who was the Godfather. What's that war movie they were in? I forget. But I found that at Big
Apocalypse Now.
Lots. Yeah,
Apocalypse Now.
yeah.
Yeah.
I literally found that at Big Lots and it was 4K. Like, what the hell is this doing at Big Lots? I have no
Yeah.
idea. But so you'll find, like, if you search, if you travel or search, you will find your Blu-rays that you're wanting or looking for, and sometimes you'll just get good lucky. It's kind of like, I don't want to equivalent it to going to a flea market because it's not, because stores aren't that cheap, but sometimes they are. And again, I'm not saying online's a bad thing. It's not, because there are certain things you can only find online. But don't be afraid to go to your local store either.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Retail matters, people.
Yeah, I have a few shelves of physical media. We used to have a movie stop here in Orlando. It's gone now, but we still have like Walmart and Big Lots. We we had when I was first in Orlando, I was living in a shabbier neighborhood near the university, We had a big lots and the L was burnt out of it. So at night it looked like it said bigots. So we used to call it bigots. Just weird stuff like that. But anyway, I used to pick up physical media there all the time because you get it for $3 a piece. Some nice ones, you know. But it's interesting the things that you run into. I mean, I haven't got all the MPI stuff that's been over the years, but I've plucked some of the better things. You know, like I've got the snow globe and a couple other nicer items that they put out. But in terms of physical media of Dark Shadows, I have the separate cased ones, 1 through 26, and then the 6 pre-Barnabas ones. Never got the coffin set. Now, I also I put everything on thumb drives so that I could take it with me anywhere I went, travel. And now it streams, so I don't even have to do that if I don't want to, as long as I got Wi-Fi. So, but I do like to have the physical media. I think I've got every available DVD that they've ever put on Dark Shadows, all the special ones, all the documentaries, all of that sort of thing. And I also have a complete collection of these guys.
I only have a few of them.
Yeah, I've got the original ones. I bought one of the Hermes press ones just to have it because it's a different format. They're bigger. Just to have that at that weekend the Burbank weekend. But and I got the 50th anniversary sweatshirt for like $30 or something like that. So I bought one of those. I'm always on the lookout for stuff. So.
Well, there's supposed to be a lot of cool stuff out for the 60th of several books. I'm really excited about that. More books.
Yes, the coffee table book. There's supposed to be 2 of them, I think, by the time they get them all published. Yeah, that should be fun. I'll definitely shell out money for those. I know they're going to be like $70 a piece or $75 a piece, but still, I will buy that for sure.
Very cool.
It's I don't travel. I don't indulge. I don't go to, I don't go to Cabo or do anything like that. I just collect Dark Shadows stuff. So, that's what I do.
Yeah. Well, it's very cool, and we're very appreciative of your finds.
Well, it's fun to share. It's always fun to share. So.
I love when you do Collinsport After Dark and you have like really cool old postcards and things. I mean, I love all that.
Yeah, I did a lot of research on the bubblegum cards too, which a lot of that research that you hear in the episodes, that was stuff that I cobbled together over the years. I have everything in binders with basically that information in the front of the binder, and I even ran across I think it was a 60th anniversary of Philadelphia Chewing Gum Company article in a collector's periodical called The Wrapper. And that had a blurb about Dark Shadows in it, and the fact that they got Dark Shadows because the owner's daughter was into it, and he thought they might be able to make a few bucks off of it. So they sent a photographer both times. There's a pink set and there's a green set, and then there's Quentin postcards, and the newsprint posters, which I also have a complete set of. I just recently bought one that it had a slight tear in it, so I bought a replacement for that. Now I've got a nice pristine set of those and a few doubles that you run into across. The first time I had a complete set of those, I was on a trip with my brother to Adamstown, Pennsylvania. There's a big indoor sort of flea market / vendor stall place. And this guy was selling them by the handfuls. He had like, "Hey, you want these? I'll give you a deal if you buy a whole bunch." And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll buy all of them." And I think I got them for like $7 a piece.
Wow.
Which now they're going for over 20. So.
Yeah, those flea markets like that are all over PA.
They are.
Yeah.
My brother usually would swing up to Adamstown because one of his nom de collectors is he is the marble king on the East Coast. He's one of the big dealers of older marbles, everything. I mean, he's got marbles that are 150, 200 years old, pre-Civil War stuff, as well as stuff from, closer to modern stuff, post-war stuff from Akron, Ohio, where they used to make the acro agates. So he would go to these places, and basically he mostly sells to dealer collectors. He just, that's where he makes a huge amount of the money. It's unbelievable. He's a walking encyclopedia of marbles. So anytime I have a question about marbles, it's like, okay, what's this kind? Oh, that's sulfide from 1893. He can tell me that stuff. So I'm into that kind of stuff too. So, like brother kind of thing. But yeah, I've had an interesting pathways before the internet. Well, at least before there was a lot of eBay business back in the 90s, I subscribed to the Rapper, and I used to subscribe to a couple of auction periodicals where they would also have dealers in there that would sell direct. And I would make phone calls and go, yeah, how you got X, Y, and Z, and I would buy stuff sight unseen, which I would never do now because you don't have to.
Well, lately there's been quite a few kind of auction items coming up on like eBay and things like that that are supposedly like props from Dark Shadows. Most of them have not been verified and like, nope, not.
Buyer beware.
Yeah, but did you see those two paintings that they had up several months ago that were paintings from the show? Now that was really interesting.
I think those were legit because they had run through other people that knew that they were legit. So yeah, those went for thousands, I believe. They were from the drawing room set, I believe. So they were the real deal.
Is there any piece of any of the sets that you wish would pop up that maybe you could hopefully get your hands on?
Well, I'm kind of more morbid, speaking of getting your hands on something, so the hand of Count Patofi would be. But I have a feeling even if it exists, it's probably old and moldy by now anyway, because they made it out of rubber and makeup. They put it over a mannequin hand. Ran into a guy on Facebook who was actually helped Vinny Lascalzo build that. So he said, this is how we did it, and all this kind of stuff. So that was cool. But that would be fun. That box, I've been looking for a quality facsimile of that box for years. And ones that have come close are usually go for hundreds of dollars. So it's like big swallow on that. Hoping to find one that's not quite that expensive.
Now, do you think that was a completely fabricated box, or do you think it was like a cigar box that was just
that was actually their dome inlaid wooden boxes? They were made in Toledo, Spain. In Spain, a lot of them. There was they were manufacturing inlaid boxes over there as souvenirs. So they were meant to store jewelry in and whatnot. And that one is a large one. It's this big. Most of them are about that big, but they all have similar stuff on them. They're sometimes they're described as Moorish because they have just Islamic symbology on them. They don't have like human depictions or anything like that. So they're often called Moorish for that reason, I think. But there are some gorgeous ones out there, but nothing quite that large and quite like that box.
Yeah, that would be cool to own.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I've got a cheap, crappy replica up here with a cheap, crappy replica of the hand in it because I'm weird that way.
Aw. I don't think you're weird, but
I am definitely.
I don't think so. Now, did you build that replica or did you buy it? Because I know you've had some carpentry skills.
Yeah. I've got models of. I ran across this guy on Etsy that makes plastic replicas of the houses.
Oh, cool.
And so I got those. You may have seen
I
pictures of those
saw
that I had.
Yeah,
But
I just saw that. I saw you posted those models the other day. That was
this
cool.
little guy here,
Okay.
and it's just I just bought, and I got the I just kind of did. Kind I basically got the hand from a Halloween clearinghouse, and then I went several years ago. They were selling various little costume rings at Spirit Halloween, and I got the ring there. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
yep, silly stuff, but fun.
Now, Jule, is there any piece of the set that you would like to maybe come across or that you've always coveted?
Oh God, no.
No.
No, oh, no. I enjoy it. I'm more, like I said, I'm more of a physical media person, so
Mhm.
I enjoy the show, just what
Yeah.
it is. So.
Very cool. Well, what are your favorite episodes? Did you have any favorite episodes?
Well, I mean, 1897 may be my favorite storyline. So there are
Mhm.
a few of them in there, including the opening one. 701 is
Mhm.
great. Love it. I remember watching it bug-eyed as a child. I also remember there's an episode, I can't remember the number of it now, but it was in June of 69. I was just out of school for a week or two, and I was hanging out at my brother's friend's house so that they could watch me while they were getting into trouble. And his friend had a color TV, so I watched episode of Dark Shadows on a color television. Most of the time, I only saw in black and white. So it was the day that Quentin discovers Evan Hanley in the basement of the old house after the hand has kind of wrought his face in a slightly different way and somewhat
Mhm.
terrifying to a 9-year-old.
I
I remember screaming and running out of the room. Uh, Sensitive child that I was. But anyway, there's the ping pong ball like hanging out and all this
Mhm.
sort of weird stuff. But that was a very memorable episode. Episode 315 is a very memorable episode for me because uh, it, I saw this. I was in 1982. I was my first summer internship in theater, doing technical theater at a place called Lakewood Theater in Maine. It was a professional union house at the time, 700 seats. It was a great place to learn how to do everything. And I did that summer. But there was also this television station nearby in a town called Poland Spring, Maine, which is what the Poland Spring water is based on. And they had a television station, WMTW, and they were showing syndicated episodes of Dark Shadows. And 315, I saw that episode, and that's the episode where they're looking for David, and he's trapped in the mausoleum. And at the end of the episode, he comes out, and Barnabas catches him.
Mhm.
That episode is also memorable for that reason because that sort of reawakened my interest in the show, at least a little bit, uh, preliminarily, I guess. But I didn't really get back into it until 89 and 90 when the MPI stuff started coming out. Well, the first one was the best of Dark Shadows, I guess. That one I saw that in a bin outside of a bookstore and grabbed it, and that kind of set me off. And then I got real crazy on it because I'm a recovering alcoholic, so I quit drinking in 1992, and I just devoted all my obsession that I had devoted to drinking and on Dark Shadows. So I bought a friend's collection. He was selling a small collection of stuff for $100, and it had a bunch of fanzines and stuff in it, and a Barnabas Collins game, and that got me started as well. But yeah, those three episodes are really super memorable. But there are a whole bunch more. I love the Tom Jennings vampire arc, which is
Mhm.
in the 560s into the 570s. That whole thing is cool, and yeah, it's just I could blather on.
Love it. What about you, Jewel?
Uh, nobody did doom is imminent or post-apocalyptic better than the late great George A. Romero, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania native.
Yes.
And if I had to put a number 2, Dark Shadows would be right behind it because 1995 is one of my favorite storylines ever.
Really
I
good.
mean, it looked and felt like George A. Romero was writing and directing Dark Shadows at the time because it felt like doom was imminent, doom was here. But anytime I watch Dark Shadows, no matter where I'm watching it from, I always think about, because I watched this on Sci-Fi Channel and syndication and watched it from the beginning to end. No matter where I'm at, whether it's 1897 or when Barnabas first comes out the coffin, I always think about Victoria on that train, because that's how this all started, really, for me. It's why I say I don't mind the beginning episodes because I enjoyed them. But I enjoy most of Dark Shows. I think when I look at the Leviathan storyline, it's often, I get why it's criticized, but I don't feel it's as bad as many people think it is. It has its issues, sure. What the hell doesn't? But it has a lot of good, creepy horror vibes to it that you can go, okay, this is good. This is good. If you would have did this a little differently, you might have
Right.
been okay.
I
Been
think the
okay.
biggest problem the fans had with it, even at the time that it was being, broadcast for the first time, was that, oh, Barnabas is right, totally evil. Oh my God. Well, this is how he started out. So we're starting over. He did. And when he came out of the coffin, he was not a nice guy at all. Kidnapper, weirdo, stalker, everything going on here. Sucker of blood. Come on, folks. Yeah, it's true. It's Leviathan upon reflection is much better than a lot of us thought it was back in the day.
We covered Star Wars, you, me, and Patrick. Okay?
Yeah.
The Sith deal in absolution. The Leviathan deal in the same thing. The biggest issue for the Leviathan is, okay, for a group that deals in absolution, basically join us or die, is
Yeah.
anytime they kill somebody, there's an angry spirit can come back at them, and it's like that's sort of where they went off the rail a bit. It's like,
Right.
okay, if you're afraid of ghosts, what are you doing killing people?
Right. And then they're all also afraid of werewolves.
Yeah,
Suddenly they're afraid of
that
werewolves.
made sense. Yes.
That was fun. I mean, that
Yeah.
that had potential, and they realized the
Yeah.
potential in
Yep.
that.
I think that was so underutilized though, because it's like they had that perfect foil with Chris Jennings, a werewolf, and it didn't really come to fruition how we thought it would come to fruition. And instead he gets taken out by a freaking shadow,
Yeah, boo. That was one of the things that was a little weak, especially since it was cut out of like black construction paper. But also, yeah, I mean, as a kid, I wanted the werewolf to come crashing through the window every time the Leviathans were plotting something, and just like chase them all over the room. That would have been my absolute dream at that time.
Yeah, that was again because you have a group of creatures who have to have flesh to stay on land. So what does the werewolf destroy? Flesh.
That's right. Seriously.
Easily
Slice and dice,
terrifying.
just like something Ronco made, in Soul for $9.95. The Ronco werewolf knives.
Oh my God, dude. But I think just the whole story of Dark Shadows is one amazing journey that the writers, Dan and all of them, gave all of us fans, really. And I've said this to Patrick, I've said this to Alan, and I'll say this to anybody in the sound of my voice. A positive light on Dark Shadows is the best thing you can do.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I always say that it doesn't matter what happens with a series in terms of what's new, and I'd like to have it move on from what's already been done and just keep going, rather than rehash the origin stories, because we've already had that done a couple times. But that was fun. It's fine. I'm not overly criticizing it, but like to move on from that. But we always have the original series anyway. It's nothing can really touch it. So
you want to see Angelique's dream curse husband?
There he is. Yeah. The nightmare curse.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The dream
Hey,
curse.
Barnabas,
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh.
don't fall asleep.
That's it. That's it. Like I said, man, when you watch Freddy's Dead, Roseanne Barr is the scariest thing in that movie.
Well, she's the scariest thing in She-Devil too. So I don't know.
Al, you want to hear something cool? Alice Cooper plays Freddy Krueger's dad in that movie.
Oh God, I have not seen that. I guess I'm going to have to see it now.
It's really good. No, he comes down with the belt. He says, Freddy, and he starts hitting Robert Englund's character. Not,
Yeah,
and Robert Englund isn't in the Freddy makeup yet
right,
either.
right.
And
It's
he's like,
pre. Yeah,
Pre, right. It's so good.
yeah.
It's one of the best scenes in that movie.
Well, speaking of scary, what do you guys think are some of the scariest scenes or the scariest moments on Dark Shadows?
As a child, it was the first time I saw the werewolf because I ended up having a nightmare about it. So I know that was scary. The makeup, the Evan Hanley makeup was scary for me. Um, the Dream Curse really wasn't scary. I thought it was cool and still do. A lot of people kind of crap on it because it's so repetitive, but that's okay. That works because it's repetitive to a different character every time, so it's okay. So I thought that was kind of cool with all the special effects and the dry ice and the psychedelic overlay, and all of that sort of stuff. That was cool. Um, I really thought that the head of Judas Zachary and the whole thing with the that whole thing in 1995 when we've got Gerard's ghost and all of that sort of thing leading into that was pretty spooky stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. The Leviathan being wasn't spooky to me. The breathing and stuff, I thought that was cool. I like monsters, that kind of stuff, because he'd already been humanized. We see Jeb, and Jeb is, neurotic and hysterical and human. So, yeah.
The creepiest thing about the Leviathan is the kids. Like Michael. Yeah, that shit was creepy.
Yeah, the kids are creepy. No
The
doubt.
kids are creepy. Once he becomes an adult, it's like, oh shit.
He's just a boy.
Yeah, he's just a bully. It's like, okay, who devours people in a room.
Right.
Which
Well, we
when you
don't
look
go
up,
in that room, so that's
yeah, when you look up Leviathan, that's devoured the damned, right? But I agree with you. 1995 is pure terror. It's 9 episodes of pure terror, and it's because because by this time, Collinwood was our world. I mean, we were not going to town. We weren't going to the Blue Whale a bunch of times. The main house, the great house, and the old house were sort of our world.
That was pretty much it.
Yeah, and once the great house was destroyed, it's like, what happened?
Time to go to the shack at Finley's Cove.
You got Carolyn getting killed. You got Mrs. Johnson getting 86. It's like there are more bodies dropping in 1995 than in a goddamn slasher.
It's true.
It's like, my God. But it like I said, it felt like George A. Romero, and that's what's weird because by the time I watched this, I had watched a bunch of horror, and it's like people say, "Well, who scared you? Did John Carpenter? Did Wes Craven?" I'm like, no, George Romero scared me because when I went to a funeral, I literally just watched Night of the Living Dead for the first time in black and white.
God.
And my mother, I would not go up to that coffin.
No kidding.
And my mother, who owned a video store, she let me watch it. She's sitting there and she realized why I was scared. She leaned in. She goes, "It's just a movie. Go up." And she nudged me up, like she nudged I'm almost no nonsense. She nudged me up and basically took her hand. Go to the coffin. You'll be fine. And I'm just like slowly walking there, and I'm hearing like the Undertaker music. I'm like, I'm dead. This thing's gonna come up on me and eat me.
Right.
No, it didn't happen. But as I was a little kid.
Yeah, it's just a movie as the phantasm ball floats in from off stage.
Right. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I just think it had, and one of my favorites, underrated ones. I know people say 1840, and 1840 is good, but 1841 Parallel Time was really, really good.
Basically it was a leap of faith, and
Yeah.
it was also Dan Curtis saying, "Okay, you don't want to play Barnabas anymore. That was all happening at the same time. And ironically, the ratings were actually going up when the show was canceled. So
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was more of a soap opera romance, just set in a different time period at that
And
point.
it was something you weren't expecting, a Collins cursing one of their own.
No, they did the Shirley Jackson lottery thing, and yeah,
Yeah. That's the lottery you don't want to play.
no, no, no. Although I must say, Morgan has a fantastic death. But I hear that
Yes.
he was auditioning for Neil Simon, who happened to be on set that day. So he was like totally histrionically dying over the edge, you know. So
Straight off the balcony.
yeah,
Well, I was just talking to Penny Dreadful about 1840, which will be on the episode coming up before this one airs. And what do you guys think about like 1995 and 1840 and that haunting of 1970 period? Do you think that that is all in the same regular time, or do you think that there is like an offshoot of parallel time, but they don't call it parallel time just because of the inconsistencies kind of with that whole storyline and Gerard and the kids and all of that? What do you guys think about that?
well, I mean, it's rife with possibilities because by this time we know that Barnabas and Julia can change the course of history.
Hmm.
So it's rife with possibilities that way. I think you can definitely interpret that if you want to. I always thought it was the same timeline, but I can see where it could be an amalgam of a bunch of things, and parallel time being part of that. But yeah, I was really. I remember watching it as a kid, and I was really hot for them to get back into the past again. I always loved the past. I was like love history anyway, so I knew it was coming. When all the stuff that's happening at Collinwood and with the ghost and all of that sort of thing. And it was weird because I didn't get the parallels between the Quentin haunting and the Gerard haunting until many many years later because well, it's a
Hmm.
different actor, I'm not, and it's a different character, and also there's a different outcome, or
Hmm.
there is until they go back into the past and change things.
Hmm.
Um, so I never thought that that was a rehash or anything else, and it really wasn't. They just said we'll do that again, but we'll writers go and have fun with it and do different things with it.
So 1995, or sorry, 1795, according to Dark Shadows, is always repeating itself. Well, the reason it's always repeating itself now is because it's trying to
Fix
fix
itself.
itself, and it
Hmm.
can't
Yeah,
because you had Victoria Winters swap with Phyllis Wick, and when Barnabas went back the next time when he went back to save her, look take a look at two specific characters. Take a look at Natalie Dupre and take a look at Lieutenant Forbes. Lieutenant Forbes doesn't necessarily change, but notice Natalie Dupre how she's wanting to kill Barnabas. When you
Hmm.
first went there, she wasn't wanting to. That's not just a change in character. That's literally a change in time. Like the
yeah, the
times
circumstances. Yeah.
changing, because he went back. And another proof of that is there's no Phyllis Wick. Phyllis Wick doesn't switch places with Victoria Winters that time. So there's now more than one time branch with 1795. And in fact, there's another one. Barnabas goes back yet again and going off
Yeah, he ends
1897.
up going back in 1796 and 1797.
Yep. And for 1995 and 1840, 1995, you have Barnabas and Julia see the future, see what hell is literally like, in a sense, hell on earth, that Collinwood is destroyed. And yeah, 1840 is it's when they go to 1970, they're trying to warn everybody. And
Hmm.
to quote a line from one of my other favorite shows, Stargate SG-1, they say we don't want Dr. Jackson to live his nightmare. Guess what? Yeah, that happens because it's a parallel time. But
Yeah,
with this, it's not because 19. The only key differences is Stokes doesn't go crazy.
Hmm.
He doesn't break his will like 1995. He does go to London, but he comes back and he doesn't break. His will doesn't break. Quentin does go crazy.
Yes.
A lot of the other things do happen, except for a small minor detail of things. So they do change some things, but not enough to cause, again, the destruction of Collinwood happens. So you're going, that's all one timeline. And then you go 1840, that's your,
That's right.
the biggest thing that changes, and I agree with Penny Dreadful in this, and I wish they would not have fixed this. I know what they said in the show that Barnabas bit Roxanne. I don't really buy that at times, though I have to swallow it because it's canon. It more felt like there was a connection with Judas.
You do not have to swallow it. You can spit it out. It's okay. Okay.
Right. But it more felt like there was a connection with Judah Zachary. They made eye contact. There was something there that we don't get an explanation. And I sort of wish the writers would have went, well, we know how Barnabas said he was the descendant. Well, who's to say instead of just being related to the family that marries Quentin, that she was like a great aunt before, like when Miranda Harris, that's what Miranda / Angelique saw, Miranda Tate or whatever, maybe that's what she saw. She saw Judah turn this woman into a vampire. And that's what she's tested. We don't hear her full testimony necessarily. We hear some of it, but maybe that's what she saw that terrified her, that made her realize, okay, this guy's a bad seed. Not saying that's what happened, but they could have played with that. They didn't.
Roxanne is a retcon.
Yeah,
she shows up and she's a vampire in 1970, but we don't know how that happened, so that's all a retcon.
Yep. And then, 1840, 1995, 1840, that's all one thing. Now, 1841 parallel time, that's
of course, that's totally different. And actually, we get there through, Trask, Lamar Trask, dying in parallel time, and that's how we kind of get there. So
he wasn't running from Barnabas; he was really running from Alan.
That's true.
He didn't want to tangle with Alan.
That's true. I was going to interview him. He just couldn't handle it. He saw the questions in advance, and it's like, I'm not getting into that part of my life. I'm sorry. So yeah.
The fight with Trask and Lamar, it tells you Barnabas did not know how to fight as a human.
Well,
Yeah, right.
There wasn't, the show wasn't really big on hand-to-hand combat. Every time they had a disaster usually occurred.
That fight was all hands.
Thinking of the fight between Quentin and Charles Delaware Tate, for example. That was the best fight they ever had, was between Joe Haskell and the werewolf. Because one of the people in that fight was a stunt professional.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. I did like David Selby knew how to tangle.
Well, yeah. When Quentin fights Jeb, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah. When he fights Jeb.
But there was a lot of this.
Yes. Yeah. So I asked, hey, who would you like to see in a wrestling match?
Yeah, that's right. So just grab my collar and pretend to hit me, okay?
That's it. No Mick Foley stunts. None.
It's a cage lowers down into the great house of Collinwood. Isn't it?
That's right. Oh my gosh.
So
what do you?
Go ahead.
Sorry, what do you think, Catherine?
What do I think? Oh, gee, I don't know. I don't know. But what do you guys think about that theory that Judah Zachary was behind kind of all of the evil at Collinwood? That theory that Patrick McRae put forth about Judah Zachary and kind of being the mastermind of kind of all the bad stuff kind of that came down from the 16 whatevers. What do you guys?
1692.
1692. Thank you. I was blanking on the number.
It scans okay. I mean, you can make that work for sure. Particularly since he utters the curse, in 1692. So I think their intention was to kind of connect that a little bit at least, or the writers might have well been that. So yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's also the people like Penny Dreadful has talked about how there might be a hellmouth somewhere in Collinsport, that just makes things bad happen all the damn time. And Judah Zachary is one of those bad things that comes along. But I could get behind Judah Zachary being behind everything that we see on the show, all the bad luck and all the curses and all the wild stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Now,
basically comes down to, was there one great power that did all this, or wasn't it? And I do think Patrick has made a fantastic point of this, that it could be Judah Zachary. I think some of it, a lot of it is, but I also think both sets of family members, when you look at Joshua and when you look at the other side of Quentin's side of the family, they've made so many enemies. It's like, where do you begin? I think with, for example, the Trasks have always been an enemy of the Collins ever since 1795. It's like, okay, so this Trask, it would make sense if it were Trask in 1897 coming out the room, because he did have some sort of weird power that he heals Quentin and heals the kid. It's like, what the hell did he just do? And, and it would also make sense of why Quentin doesn't speak, because, okay, he can mimic Quentin's look, but his voice, no, he can't. Why would he be able to? It's Gerard, we don't fully hear Gerard. I will say the similarity is with the ghost of Judah Zachary is we don't hear Gerard's voice. We just see James Storm do this really good job. He mouths his name to Julia. You don't hear his voice, which I think was really talented to not be able to do, like, for basically lip read. Really great job from just a performance standpoint. I know I'm going off on a tangent, but great job.
Yeah. Speaking of voices and exchanges, many people have noticed that the voice of Judah Zachary is not the voice of the actor who's playing him. And the reason for that, I think, is because Michael had the look. He had the look. He was bald and he had this searing eyes and the whole 9 yards. He just had the look. Went on to greater fame, putting on a toupee and becoming what's her name's first girlfriend on Cheers. Yeah. But anyway, his voice was a higher voice like this, and he had that little New York accent, and so they said, "No, this is not the warlock who rules the world here." So they got
he's on MacGyver.
They got Keen Curtis to do the voice instead. And Keen Curtis was a very well-known, mellifluous voiced Broadway actor. And so that's the reason that they did that. We want the look, but we don't want the sound. We want somebody else to do your voice. And I'm sure he probably was a little crestfallen about that, but pay me anyway. So.
There's an episode of MacGyver called Last Stand, which it takes place at an airport, a little airport, where MacGyver basically cuts a security guard out the back of a bank truck. Because they were wanting to blow it up. He goes, I can get that guy out of there with no problem, and he does. The leader is Michael.
Michael McGuire.
Michael McGuire. He's the ringleader of that group.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to also do a little King Curtis trivia, you want to know where you can also hear King Curtis's voice? In World Championship Wrestling in the 90s. When they did the Dungeon of Doom angle, he was the voice behind some of that.
Wow. He was also the guy who was upstairs from the Cheers bar. Okay. He was the restaurateur. Yeah, he was come down. He's this snotty guy that was always, criticizing them for their noise or whatever they were doing. But he was very good in that as well.
And it's crazy who knew him too, because the guy who knew him was Kevin Sullivan.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the guy who knew King Curtis for wrestling. That's how they got him. He goes, I know the actor King Curtis, and Eric Bischoff's like, really?
Who?
Like,
what? Yeah.
What? Oh my God! Sorry to get my wrestling fact in.
That's all right. any connections whatsoever. There are many connections to Dark Shadows. They go out like the those creatures that have no name from Lovecraft.
I will tell you that the guy if you ever watch a clip of where RoboCop is saving Sting in the cage, that is not the actor who played
right.
That's not no.
They used a stunt double.
Yes. Well,
because they can with the thing over. I mean, it's pretty easy to fake that, but.
Oh my goodness.
Now, out of all of the villains, out of all the baddies on Dark Shadows, which one would you have liked to have seen return if there had been, if Dark Shadows, the original series, had gone on longer? If we'd come back from 1841 parallel time, who would you have liked to seen return?
The tie for me between Nicholas Blair and Count Petofi. Mm-hmm. And I think they probably would have brought one or both of them back at some point if the series had gone on anyway. Mm-hmm. Petofi probably would have been interesting to have show up as Thayer David, but looking significantly different at first, to ingratiate himself into Collinwood again. And then have like Barnabas. Who is that guy? Wait a minute. He's strangely familiar to me. That kind of thing. Stokes is off to England or whatever.
What about you, Jule?
I'm going to slightly borrow something Patrick said and sort of take some of this because I do think it would have been interesting to see as they're going to the Collinsport Historical Society at the end. Roger's going to give this big speech, and the people funding the project are all Leviathan. That would have been interesting to see.
What's your name, sir? My name is Oberon.
Right?
Mr. Oberon.
Could you imagine if that would have, because Barnabas doesn't have his powers.
No.
Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah, I think it would have been really cool to have Count Petofi come back and kind of find out what exactly happened to him at the end of 1897. Like the big question is like, did he escape? Is he dead? Where is he? Did he manage to get to the future? Did he change form somehow? You
could even have a different actor playing him because he would like possessed some other guy in order to get into the future. He couldn't, he blew it with Quentin, but he managed to find somebody else.
Yeah. I think that would be cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, on that note, I should probably let you guys go because I know it's getting kind of late. And, but I mean, we'll have you back again, because I'm talking to both of you and, there'll be other discussions and maybe we'll have more people join us and, the possibilities are endless.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you so much for joining me. And talk to you guys later. I'm going to post links to both of your YouTube channels. And,
thank you very much.
Thanks again. You guys have a great.
Have a good one.
Bye.
In a ghost of a room plays a music box tune. For the moment it's all ours. It's the night of the sun and the moon. Something bad will happen soon. But for now let's play with old toys at all hours. There's Dapple and Charger and Jule, running a race none shall ever win, revolving in an endless circle. stays there as the scent of lilac fills the room.
Collinwood, the present day. Barnabas Collins sleeps the sleep of the undead, but unfortunately for him, his sleep is not a dreamless one.
Through sight and sound and faceless terror, through endless corridor, through trial and error, ahead a blazing light does burn, and one door leads to the point of return.
Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Maggie, it's you. It's you. Maggie, let me out. Is someone there? Through sight and sound and faceless terror, through endless corridors, through trial and error, ahead a blazing light does burn, and one door leads to the point of return.
Knocking. Who is it? Barnabas! Barnabas, what do you want? Do you want me to go with you? Where are you taking me? Where are you taking me, Barnabas? Where do you want me to go, Barnabas? Barnabas, where are you taking me? You want me to go in there? You want me to go in there? Oh! Out, Barnabas, please let me out. No, no, no. No, Barnabas, please. I want to go back to Collinwood. Barnabas, no. Another door. It's another door. Oh. No. Please, please. There's only one way out. There's only one way out.
Collinsport Record Shop. I'm Catherine, and I make music. When I'm not recording with Song Telephone, I put out music under Discount Artificial Sweetener. My favorite TV show is Dark Shadows, and I'm sharing my love for the residents of Collinsport, Maine, with several albums dedicated to their stories. Rogues Gallery, with cover art by Elias Shockley. An EP inspired by some of the bad boys of Dark Shadows. Ooh, those rogues, a loving ode to Byronic heroes, Gothic villains, and the bad boys of literature.
On redeeming me, ooh, those rogues, you know you love us so, we're so very mad, bad, and oh so dangerous to know. Let me stalk you down dark halls, chase you across the moors.
Geruda. Gerard Stiles becomes possessed by warlock Judah Zachary in 1840.
In this time, Geruda, with the body of this rogue Gerard Stiles, Geruda, your will becomes my own, Geruda, I'll mastermind a witchcraft trial and take Collinwood for my own.
Sunshine. Barnabas and Charity Trask. Oh my. So bad, but so good.
Submit to me, sunshine. Surround my body in sunlight. Be a willing feast for me. I'll show you the best things about the night.
These songs, and many more, can be found on Rogues Gallery by Discount Artificial Sweetener, streaming everywhere now.
The Back Room at the Blue Whale is a Dark Shadows podcast.